Go.
Yay!
Go.
We're live.
I changed my shirt.
You changed your shirt.
I changed my shirt.
Too hot.
I changed my shirt to short sleeves because it's ridiculous. It's the middle of October and it's far too hot. And
Who's calling me? You started calling me the second you press the button.
yeah, the second I press record, the children have to get up and run around.
That's normal. What do you want, sweetie? Oh, she wants juice.
She would like some apple juice. The whole morning she could have asked for apple juice.
1 second.
She asked for it 5 seconds after.
William! Jasmine needs some juice.
Well.
Thank you.
Is he going to do it? Oh, he has to pause his game. Oh my gosh. Panic. Panic at the disco.
I know.
Oh no. Oh my
That was
God.
a song, wasn't it? Or was it an album?
No and no.
What was it?
I'm sorry, you lose.
What was Panic at the Disco?
Panic at the Disco was a band.
Oh!
It was a band. The band were called Panic at the Disco. They probably still exist.
Did they have a hit?
I have no idea. There's probably at least 1 or 2 songs that were good. Because every band has at least 1 or 2 songs that are good.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they were indie rock. I think.
Right.
Right. And if they were Scottish, they were fantastic.
Indie rock is a piece of rock that comes from India, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And
Just to clarify.
all bands make that pilgrimage. Right. Okay.
All bands that are indie rock.
Okay, let's rewind to the start because that made no sense to anyone, not even me, what we just said. Right?
Juice for Jasmine, please.
What to who?
What to?
Hello?
Who?
What to who?
Yeah.
Right. I'm thrown off by the new system.
Yes.
I'm thrown off by the new system of not doing this every day. Or
Okay.
not trying to do this every day.
Why are you thrown off by it?
Because doing it every day is good motivation for me to do other things.
Yeah?
It's good, and it's up.
A cup. Well, just
A cup.
solve
There's a
the
whole
problem.
cupboard full of cups.
There's also a
hundreds of cups in
dishwasher
the
full of
kitchen.
cups as well. There are the plastic cups in a dishwasher. Are you supposed to even put plastic cups in a dishwasher? I don't know.
Are you supposed to even have a dishwasher?
Are you even supposed to have plastic cups?
I'm sure if you go on the internet and research, dishwashers are unhealthy.
And do not place your plastic cups in them. There's probably going to be something like that.
What would be bad about a plastic cup in a dishwasher?
The plastic can deteriorate, perhaps, maybe. I don't know. The reaction of the
dishwashing
dishwashing.
with nuclear fuel?
Yeah. No, I don't know. Sometimes they fly around the dishwasher when they're not stuck in properly. They do.
Little plastic cups.
You don't stick them in properly. They're so light that the stream of the water is just gonna make them jump around. So you have to make sure that they're wedged in properly.
Wedge.
Mm-hmm.
Does it say that in the instructions? Remember to wedge the plastic into the dishwasher.
Doesn't.
Do you have to wedge other things?
But you don't
Only the
read
plastic
instruction manuals.
Me, or you, or
And anyone in this world that I know of. Unless it's something that's not obvious.
I probably spend
right?
more time looking at the Chinese instructions than the English one, just because the symbols are more interesting.
You know,
I know what that is.
as a translator, I often translate instruction manuals, and I have to translate like 10 pages of safety, precautions things, and yeah, I have to translate sentences like plug the plug into the socket, and I'm thinking, why do they even have to write that down there? Make
Because
sure that the electrical
portion-
cord is not wet.
A large portion of society is in fact backwards, and is not progressing to any positive point. Well, let me give you an example from last week, right? And let me scratch my nose for a second as well, and say, welcome to Practical Parenting. We will teach you how to fill your dishwasher the proper way, right?
Very practical, very parenting-y.
I've got an itchy nose. What did I do?
Again!
Well, no, I was sneezing before. I've just got an itchy nose.
You're allergic to
This means something.
to this.
This means something. Getting an itchy nose, it must mean something.
That you're allergic to dust.
Somebody's.
That I should probably hoover this place.
I don't know what. Maybe it's the shirt.
I actually hoovered before
got the
yesterday,
shirt on
guys, so
today.
it's not really dusty, is it?
So
Apart from
I
that
have
little
this-
shelf there.
I have
because
this
you didn't let me
client,
touch it.
right?
Mhm.
And this client is has their own private company, involved in a pretty responsible business. I can't say what, but it's
A responsible
pretty.
business.
It's
Okay.
a kind of business where people could actually live and die, right? It's a pretty responsible business, right? And I had a meeting with them through Skype.
Does that mean that it's extremely dangerous and people could die there?
Just listen, right?
Okay.
Right. Listen to the story. And so one of my conditions for meetings is that students squeezing
Squeezing your
muscles.
biceps.
Did I say welcome to? I did.
Yes, you did.
What's my name? Where am I from? You see, when I miss a day, everything goes. It just goes somewhere. I don't know where.
So what about this client?
So, one of my conditions for meetings is that clients have a headset. This is so that they can hear me clearly, because people say, "Oh, I can't hear you clearly," and that's because their speakers are in France, right? Right, and they or in a different room, and they because their son used it for their computer for computer games or something, or they don't know or whatever, and so
Well, they
that there's
don't
a
know that they should
microphone
have
so that I
speakers.
can hear them. Oh, and they have to test it to make sure it works, right? Because the number of meetings I've had with people where the equipment just doesn't work,
Mhm.
and this is the point I want to make anyway, which is they were sitting at their computer with their headset on, and of course the headset wasn't working,
Uh-huh.
and so I asked them, okay, did you test it before? No. Okay, and this is an intelligence question. It's not a method of how to connect things to your computer. I'm asking the person, are you actually an intelligent person, or are you not? Are you ready and prepared for things, or are you not? So
Okay, do you consider me an intelligent person?
I think if you're going to have a business meeting with somebody and you're going to use a headset, you don't plug the headset in at the beginning of the meeting thinking that it's all going to work perfectly. You test it out in advance. In fact, if you don't test out in advance, you are in fact stupid, right? Especially if it's an important. You're stupid if you don't test it in advance. You are stupid. I'm sorry. I mean, I'd make that claim about anybody, anywhere. You are of extremely low IQ if you don't test something. If you have a business meeting and you're not prepared for it, and you're walking into a business meeting with stuff you've never used before, or you've never seen before, or you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, is it?
Exactly. So I asked this person who's director of their own company, right? Did you check this before? You know, do you know that this technology works? You know, have you just put it into your computer and checked? Oh, mic works. Oh, I can hear. You know, did you play some music through your computer and plug in the headphones? Make sure you could hear the music through the headphones or whatever. Oh no, I just thought it would work automatically. My God, you're in charge of a company. You're in charge of a company, and you don't stop to think for 1 second that something in the world might not be automatic.
Yeah, but
You
think
might
about it. He
actually
probably
have to
if he's a
prepare
director on in a high place, right? Maybe he's just so used to other people doing the stuff for him, right? Other people probably take care of all the technicalities for him. He just shows up and bring his brains, right? So maybe the higher up you are, the more removed you are from reality.
It doesn't
I don't
matter.
know.
You check, right? The same way that you put, the winter tires on your car if you need them for winter, or it's a basic check, the same way that you, did I turn the lights off before I leave the flat, or it's a basic life check.
Oh well,
that
some people have no idea.
It's
That's
a
true.
basic life check.
I did
that
Skype.
people,
Sorry.
but no, the point is that this is not. This is like this is the intelligence. This is it. That's it. That's their maximum level of intelligence. Their maximum level of intelligence is, oh, I just stick this in here and it's going to work magically. I mean, imagine you're running a television show and you've got all new equipment, right? Imagine and you're like, oh, well, we'll just turn it on and the television show will be perfect, right? You don't test the lights, you don't test the cables, you don't test the cameras, you don't test the mix. In fact, you get everyone to turn up 5 minutes before the start of the show so that everything is just magically ready. And it's insane. This level of unpreparedness is to me signs that a person is not cognitively prepared for anything.
Maybe they just didn't consider it to be as important as you.
Well, when I have a business meeting like that, you know what I do? I send out an email in advance saying, please ensure the following things are working. And I have to send this email out in advance because people are not actually intelligent enough to actually think about that for themselves. They're not. I have to send it out in advance. Now, I send this mail out in advance, and even though I send this mail out in advance, people are still not intelligent enough to read the mail and prepare the things. They're not. These are adults.
It doesn't have to be an
these are adults
intelligence
with
thing,
kids.
darling.
My
It doesn't
God,
have
these
to
are
be about
adults with kids. It's
intelligence. It might be
frightening.
about the fact that he didn't have the time to do that. It wasn't on his priority list. Maybe he's got another 1,000 things to do, and this just was not of a priority.
Then I know that they don't care that much about the meeting. If I'm giving up my time to meet someone to help them, right, I expect them to put in the absolute minimum, which is 5 minutes of preparation time to make sure that things work. If they can't put in 5 minutes of preparation time, I know I'm dealing with an idiot. I know I'm dealing with someone who's not, if you're not prepared to put the time in the present, where the hell is it going to come from in the future? It's not going to come from anywhere if you can't do it now. Oh my God. So if you can't get your preparation right, how the hell are you going to play the game? How the hell are you going to play the game well if your training's not good? Right? It's madness.
Oh,
Right.
you know what I say. You don't know. You don't know what's happening on that side. So there's no point judging them, thinking they're idiots.
I do know what's
or
happening.
Have low IQ
I do
because
know
you
what's
don't know
I
what's
do know
happening on the other side.
Did you test it before? Did you check that it works? Oh no. My God, you test everything. You check everything. Right? I mean, you the same way you check the times of buses. You know, if you have to go somewhere, you check what time the buses go, right?
Sometimes.
Or if you know the bus goes every 10 minutes, right? I mean, you don't worry about that, right? But if you're going somewhere, it's like, okay, let's see what time the bus goes, you know, so that you get to the station at the right time. So the fact that so many people can't actually get themselves organized in the slightest way is ridiculous to me, and that's why people need that shows me people need even more coaching than the basic form of coaching, right? You've got to go right back to the beginning and say, okay, what step 1, step 2, step 3, and then realize that most of the people using the technology don't know how it works, and that people are lost very quickly because Jazzy's 2.5. She can pretty much surf YouTube. She can get the tablet, turn it on, find the YouTube application, and surf YouTube for the videos that she wants to watch. Do you know how many adults can't do that? There are adults that cannot do that. Really. That's a fact. I know it's hard for you to believe because you can do it. Because you can do it, you think everyone else can do it. They can't. There are adults who cannot do that. And there are teachers that cannot do that. Teachers, you know, the people that are supposed to be in charge of the future of the planet, basically, because they're in charge of the education of the kids. There are teachers who can't do that, and I know that's hard to believe, but it's true. It's true. It's and what's going to happen in the future is that teaching is redundant as an industry. I mean, teachers are going to have to become coaches, mentors, tutors, guides. But the base. Am I boring you? You're yawning.
No.
You're yawning there.
I'm
You're yawning.
inwardly yawning. It's not because you're boring me.
You're not inwardly outwardly
It's just
yawning. I
me.
can see you. And if you're inwardly yawning, does that mean you're repressing a yawn?
Mhm.
See?
Yeah.
Let it out. Let it out and in.
And that's what you're
as they
doing.
say.
You're letting it out.
That's because I was going to talk about this last week, right? But so many other things popped up in between then and now.
You
That,
just need a rant.
well, it's even with like when I send out that mail to clients, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which says, if you're going to use a computer or a mobile device, at least have headsets so that you can hear clearly. They don't bother. They just don't bother. People who think that they can actually take steps forward by doing nothing. That's the madness of the modern world. That's the craziness of everything. This belief in, and my frustration is people that think things happen automatically. Nothing happens automatically. Everything happens because people do something to make it happen. Someone gets up early in the morning and to drive the buses. Somebody gets up. Somebody does a night shift at the power station to provide the energy for the town. Right? Somebody plants the flowers to make the environment look nice. That there's nothing that is automatic. Sadly. Rant finished. How are you?
No.
Rant finished. That's my first rant in ages.
Yeah, I've noticed. You obviously just needed to let it out.
I noticed that you didn't stop me.
Yeah, no, I have noticed that you haven't ranted for ages. So
That's because you were ranting.
yeah,
That's why I made the remixes.
yeah, I mostly rant. Yes, that's true.
That's why. Oh, she's ranting. That'll make a good remix. Chop,
This
chop,
is gonna
chop,
be
edit,
your
edit.
remix. You're gonna be like death metal music in the background and just G going.
No, I had my time in bands and playing loud music and screaming in people's faces and it's kind of good when you're 20 to 25, but even then you feel old doing that.
Yeah.
I'm going to scream like a 5-year-old or a 3-year-old or whatever. What?
Oh.
What?
Oh, that must be actually very relaxing. You must be able to get out a lot of tension that way.
Yeah, well, those kinds of people who create death metal music are generally not very happy.
No.
Deep down inside.
I have noticed
they have issues.
when we had a car. I had noticed that every time you were really pissed off,
I would drive fast.
you would put on a very metal-like music. So.
Are you saying the music reflected my mood?
Did you not notice that? Don't tell me you haven't noticed that. Every time you put on that kind of music.
Excuse me, what kind of music?
Shouty, screamy, lots of guitar noise kind of music.
Oh, Sting. Eric Clapton.
Then I know exactly that I better be quiet and not get in your way, or you're gonna perform the ja thing.
I don't know what that is. What is the ja thing? What does that mean?
It's the yelling in the music.
The yelling.
It's when they yell and you don't understand what they're saying because they're yelling it.
Oh, the screamo music.
It's like called screamo.
I don't listen to music where people scream.
Yes, you used to. In the car when you were pissed off. Sometimes in the kitchen when you were pissed off.
What music did I put on? Because maybe
I don't know what it was.
You're confusing that. I mean,
new music. I don't know. Just a very fast and metal-like music.
That was the worst impersonation of metal music I have ever heard. It sounded like a rabbit chewing on a toffee.
I'd like to chew on some toffee.
Yeah, well, you can't. Right. Right.
But you know what I mean, right? No.
Are you, well, you're saying that angry people listen to angry music?
Well, no, I was talking about you personally. I'm not generalizing anything.
All right, so angry people don't listen to angry music.
I didn't say that either.
Ah.
I'm just not
What did you?
generalizing. I said angry you listen to angry music.
Okay. So are you saying the music that I listen to reflects my mood?
Yes.
Is that all the time?
I don't know. I just know with that particular music, I know that when you put on that particular kind of music, you're angry.
Okay, so what if somebody puts on like Prodigy Firestarter? Does that mean like they're a pyromaniac or?
I don't know about anybody else. I just know about you.
Stick to the facts. Stick to the facts. Okay. Okay. Does your music reflect your mood?
I don't listen to music much.
You were walking around the kitchen singing earlier today. Or was it last night?
Probably last night. Yeah, I do listen to music when I like go to the shop by myself, right? Or I put it on the speakers in the kitchen. I usually use music to kind of pump me up. When I need a little boost of energy, you know, when I need to cook and I really don't want to cook, but I really have to, then I put some music on so that, you know, I get a bit more positive about it.
Music motivates you to cook?
Music motivates me to do things that I don't really want to do at that moment, like tidy up or cook or, you know, all of those tedious, boring chores that you have to do day by day. The music is the spoonful of sugar, right?
That helps the medicine go down.
The medicine go down, the medicine go down.
Okay, anyway. Right. Good old Mary Poppins.
Yeah, so that helps me, yes. Or sometimes when I'm sad and I need to be even sadder, put on sad music. You know, when you need to let it out, I can use it to help me just let the emotions out. But when I'm angry, I'm usually just angry. I usually need peace and quiet to pull myself together.
Interesting. Happy music is usually terrible anyway. So.
No, it's not. Look at Glee.
No, there's a subtext and all of that stuff. Yeah, well, the songs might have like an upbeat to them, but you know, they do deal with darker topics when you look at the lyrics and the words. There, I'm gonna give you hell, right?
This is why I hope it gives you hell.
Well, I hope it gives you, yeah, well, that's
it is, but you can understand why it works.
Well, it's intelligently done. It's intelligently done. Yeah, we'll get on to parenting in a minute, but I read an article about the Pussycat Dolls.
Excuse me?
It's a band.
Oh yeah, something at the back of my mind from like 17 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, it was a radio-friendly sort of pop band, girl singers, and
What did they do? What hit did they have?
I don't remember
that I would
them
know.
having any hits.
Well, they must have had something, because if I've heard the name, it must have been a hit that reached Slovak radios.
Oh well, it's just, you know, it's marketing, wasn't it? You know, it's just they just put pretty faces on the cover or something and tried to sell it. Nothing much.
And call themselves Pussycat Dolls, which is horrible.
Yeah. Anyway,
unless you mean like irony, right?
It's sold to young girls, isn't it? I mean, it's not designed for boys don't listen to Pussycat Dolls, do they? That just wouldn't make any sense at all, right? Salty young girls. Anyway, the one of the groups said that the whole group was a front for a prostitution ring. That's all it was all the time. Yeah, and they used the music and the tour to cover this. It was very interesting, right? And then it's sold to teenage girls as something cool. So
That's quite horrible.
Yeah, something that parents need to watch out for. I think is the message in the music. Right, the music hides messages a lot of the time. So the message in the music is very often very important. Yeah, it all began with.
Josie, do you need to pee, my darling?
Oh, where's Jazzy? Do you need to sit on the potty, darling? No.
Okay.
No. Okay.
That's cool.
Right. Not at the moment. In 5 minutes, everything might change. But yeah, well, it's the same with Britney Spears, right? Yeah.
Britney S. Spears.
Well, there was a whole subtext there of other things going on, right? Drugs and what do you call it when? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, bad stuff, right? Bad stuff. And then there was the "If You Seek Amy" song, which was neurolinguistic programming.
Yes, obviously. I've never heard of the song though.
You've never heard of the song? Okay, so there was a song, and the chorus was all. I can't really sing it, but I get the rhythm of it. Right? All the boys and all the girls are begging to, if you seek Amy.
Okay.
And the first light that should come on in somebody's mind is that this makes no sense grammatically.
Yes, but if you have half a brain, you know what that means.
So what does it mean?
I'm not going to swear.
Okay. So, but you get the point that it's not words, it's letters.
Yes.
I'm not going to explain it
Obviously.
to the people. But,
Obviously, yes.
But if you break the words down into the sounds, you realize that it's spelling out something else. And then the girls love the music because they see it on TV or they hear it on the radio, and it's got there's a really flashy video connected with it, and there are lots of articles and stories in the news, and then mum buys the CD for her daughter for Christmas, right? And the rest is history. According to another study, that wasn't a study, but I have read a number of studies this week. And no, really, I was reading a Natural News article today, and it said that 38% of American adults are using opioids.
Oh, I've seen that. You've shared it on
I posted
Facebook.
the John Rappaport quote about it because he was talking about it as well. 38% of American adults have used opium. I mean, that's.
I don't think I've ever used opium other than in poppy seeds.
I mean, look, if you're going to have, if you're going for a serious operation and they have to give you some drug because of the operation, to sedate you, fair enough, right? But just getting it prescribed by your doctor's kind of a bit crazy. Oh, I'm having a stressful time, because
I commented on your post actually that I've heard those names of those medicines that are prescribable and buyable in the pharmacies in America, right? The
Bible.
What were they called? The
Oxycontin?
Yes, Oxycontin and something else.
I think it's called Oxycontin, but
no, it's not.
No, it's not.
That's got an N there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I should read it more carefully.
And something else beginning with B.
The kind of thing is like that. Like, I'm happy that I don't know.
And I've read.
I don't know.
I knew those were familiar for me because I have read them in some book or another, and I think it must have been by Stephen King because he often deals with things like addictions, and when he creates a character, some of these characters have these kind of problems, and yeah, I believe that it's quite easy to access to a certain extent even though it is a prescription drug, you can apparently always find your ways around that.
Well, first of all, if you know people working in the industry, if you know doctors, I've had doctors who work in hospitals say to me, if you ever need anything, just give me a call. No problem. I'm like,
Yeah.
Thanks, but I'm okay.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks,
I had a
but no
doctor who had absolutely, you know, doctors shouldn't prescribe medicines that you don't need, right?
Sorry. Then nobody would be, almost everybody would be prescribed nothing.
Yeah, I got it. So, but you know, I had a friend doctor who would prescribe antibiotics for me just because I was going out of the country and I needed them just in case something happened, right? But obviously you're not supposed to do that. Right?
Wait. Here's some drugs just in case.
Yeah, I wanted them, and I bloody well needed them as well at some point. You know, I had a health problem where I came down with 40 degrees fever within like 3 hours.
How did you know you were going to be ill?
I didn't know I was going to be ill. I was out of the country before with antibiotics and I didn't have to take them because I wasn't ill, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this time it just happened that I was, okay? And I was pretty freaking lucky to have them there because I took them immediately and they helped immediately.
So doctors can prescribe drugs for theoretical future situations.
Well, they shouldn't. That's my point. They shouldn't, but you know, if you know friends and friends of friends, that's what I'm saying. You can get around stuff.
Yeah. Big money in the big pharmaceutical industries. Anyway, moving on to other things. There were bits and pieces of parenting in there. You know, one of the reasons that trying to justify.
You're just coming.
Trying to justify.
Was there anything there? Well,
there
theoretically.
Well, I did bring in, you know, parents buying presents for their children and having to be careful about it. And one of the reasons that doctors prescribe these drugs, mainly to women, are the pressures and stresses of motherhood. That parents are experiencing, that mothers are experiencing.
Yeah, but weren't you talking about opium? That's usually a pain relief drug, no? The OxyContin and the other one are probably usually prescribed for pain relief.
But the psychological stress translates into physical problems.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. And I imagine it's easier for women to get hooked on it because not only they get pain relief, they also get brain relief.
brain relief.
And you're right. If you're stressed and under a lot of pressure, then you're probably more likely to get addicted to something that eases that stress as a side effect. I imagine, right?
It's possible. It's possible. Like I said, I'm happy that I don't know a lot about these topics because that sort of means that I've steered clear of them, right?
You know, the last character that I read about in Stephen King's book
I have no idea.
That was addicted. It was the Dome, and there was a woman who was addicted to the drugs as well. It's very interesting. She was going through a really tough. How do you say it?
Period?
No.
Experience?
No. When you get off it. Withdrawal symptoms.
She was having withdrawal symptoms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're highly addictive.
Yeah.
You get used to the feeling of having them. They create a certain level of.
And it's terrible because.
So technical note, could you please stop playing with the cable? You've done nothing but play with it for the last 15 minutes.
I just hold them up when I need to do something with my legs.
Can you just stand normally?
I can't because it's not comfortable for me to play.
You can't. Standing is not comfortable. Standing normally is not comfortable for you. What?
Standing normally is not comfortable for me. and
Well,
shift and shuffle.
to do a handstand? I mean, what does it? Would that help?
Yes. Can we do this upside down, please?
No.
Hmm.
No, all the blood will go to my head.
No, make you
That's
think.
what people say, isn't it? I don't know if that's
That's
really
what
true.
people say. Uh-oh.
Glee.
I
Glee.
didn't know what that was.
Right.
No, it actually came from the other albums that you put on my phone. The upbeat, the
Postmodern jukebox.
yes, that yes.
It's good stuff. That
Mhm.
if you can filter out some of
The bad stuff.
filter out the bad stuff. You left
Yes,
with cool
yes,
stuff.
it is cool.
There is some cool stuff there. Right. The kids are being unusually quiet and not really watching the film. What's going on with the kids?
Probably playing with tablets.
Okay, let's go. Did you see the puppet show that they did on Facebook?
I
earlier?
did a little bit. I mostly listened to it though.
It was a bit insane,
It was.
but I think it's nice to be able for them to do it, improvise, record it, and then watch it back. It's a whole nice process for them because they get that feedback on the play that they're having, the experience, and it's nice. It's nice. I want to do it again, but do it in a better way because the camera was in the wrong position. But that's because I've got my cameras taped to things because cameras have this habit of falling and moving all by themselves. So then they're now taped in position, so that doesn't happen. Right. So I was reading an article. Let's cut to the chase. Right. This is it's a post of an old newspaper post.
Okay.
And I was reading about the person who posted it. Apparently, this is a series of steps to follow for raising kids, positive steps. And
is there a year that it was published?
About 1950, I imagine. No, it's a bit later than that. But I wanted to find out more about the person who wrote it. Yeah. So I've got the newspaper article here, and it says at the top, Ann Landers. And so I thought, I'll find out who that was and read a bit more about them. It's not a real person.
What does that mean? It's not a real person?
It's not a real person. Ann Landers. And there's a picture
pseudonym
of
or
yeah.
is it?
It's a pseudonym of a variety of people who wrote responses in one newspaper column over a period of 30 to 40 years.
So they would like invent this child psychologist or something.
Yep.
And give oh my god.
They invented the person
They cheated.
who gave advice. Yeah. Is there nothing that the media will not do?
It's crazy. So what did Ann Landers say?
Okay, and I read what was written. I thought, that's quite nice, and that's why I wanted to find out more about the person. But they're not actually a real person.
Just a group of people.
Yeah, a group
calling
of people.
themselves Ann Landers. What's the picture? Oh, that's a nice woman there.
Of course, they took a picture of somebody somewhere.
Smiling elderly lady.
Yeah, it's like your favorite aunt.
Yeah.
Right? your favorite aunt.
Does.
So the article was 12 steps for raising kids.
Okay.
And I'm going to abbreviate some parts of it because it's quite long. So I'll go through the steps and you can say yay or nay to whether or not you think they are good ideas. So.
Okay.
Point one to know and note and remember is that a child is a gift, the richest of all blessings. You should never try to mold the child in the image of yourself, but allow the child to be individual and allow them as much time as necessary to become themselves. You're thinking about that?
Yeah. I agree with that, absolutely.
Right.
You have to take, you've got a kid, you have to realize the child is a person. We're not making them into people. They actually are people already. They do develop and learn skills, but they have their own mind, preferences, they have their own opinions, and they have to be respected, just like any other person.
Okay, super. And that connects with the idea of acceptance, which you were talking about before,
Yeah.
which I re-edited and put on the YouTube channel as well. So it's nice the way that things come together. Okay, point 2 is never crush a child's spirit when the child fails. Try not to compare him or her to others who have outshined them or progressed to a higher level beyond their level.
Yes, absolutely. That's you know, I approach things from the position of empathy. I can not only I can imagine what it feels like, but I've been there, okay? So I know that, you know, if people compare you to somebody better and they say, look at Johnny, he's never like this. What does it tell you as a kid?
Yeah, well, also
you know?
you only see one face of that person, usually the public face. You don't know what happens usually at home or behind closed doors.
You just feel sad and you feel resentment and you feel like, well, go and adopt freaking Johnny then, right? If he's so good and I'm so not very good.
There's no other word you can change that into.
No.
Right. Okay, moving on. Remember that anger and hostility are natural emotions. Try to help the child find socially acceptable outlets for these normal feelings. Because if you don't find socially acceptable outlets, they will probably be turned inward and result in some kind of physical or psychological pain.
Yes, definitely. That is so true. We've been discussing this on a Montessori group on Facebook actually recently. You know, and people were like, okay, so what were Maria Montessori's you know, views on tantrums and things, and one person wrote, well, she claimed that if child's needs are all fulfilled, right, then a child's going to be calm and is not going to have these outbursts. But on the other hand, apparently she claimed that children around the age of, you know, toddlerhood, from like 2 to 4 years old or maybe even earlier, start developing the sense of self and start to express their needs, their opinions, their preferences. And if they're not verbal, they're going to get angry because they can't say it. They get frustrated, they get angry. So
yeah, that which you can't produce through language, you end up producing physically.
Yeah. So yes, I think that our role as parents is not to try to create a child that never feels negative feelings, because that's unrealistic, right? Children have to have these negative feelings. It's a sign of a normal development, right? They have to get angry because they have their own mind and they develop their sense of self. Therefore, it's inevitable for them to get frustrated and get angry when they get into conflict of interest, right? So, yes, absolutely. Our role as parents is to teach them how to deal with the emotions and how to express them in a way that's not harmful to anybody else or themselves.
Absolutely. Moving on. Discipline with firmness and reason. If a child knows that you're fair, you will not lose his respect or his love. Make sure, here's a bad word, make sure the punishment fits the crime.
Yeah.
Children already have a sense of justice. You need to be aware of that. The word punishment raises flags.
They do have a sense of justice, and you find that out by asking them. But you have to be careful, because sometimes their sense of justice comes from their parents' sense of justice, right?
Mhm.
So you got a kid and they do something wrong, and you ask them, well, what do you think what do you think we should do? And he's gonna say, well, you should send me, to the corner to stay there for a half an hour. Then it's obvious that he gets that kind of punishment ideas from his parents. And when it comes to, I'm allergic to the word punishment, and I'm allergic to the word discipline as well, because I don't think we have to discipline our children.
I think that I totally agree with you. I see discipline. A lot of people see discipline as
punishment,
as something which is external. See, I see it differently.
Yeah.
I see discipline as your internal control,
Mm-hmm.
because I know that it has a relationship to what's going on. What's going on in the background with the kids?
And those,
What's happening?
I
Something.
think I need to wipe Zara's butt, so I'm gonna go and do that.
Yeah. Okay, right. Leaving everyone in my capable hands. All right. Discipline is internal. I think about biblical stories. I think about Jesus and his disciples, his followers, those people that promised to follow him and promised to observe good habits, to observe proper habits, to have discipline in their physical daily life, and also in their thoughts and in their spiritual ideas as well. So that's what I think of when I think of discipline. I don't think about what other people are doing. I think about what the individual themselves needs to do in that situation. There's no substitute for self-control. The external parameters are never as important as the internal ones. You need to have rules that you follow yourself, and this gives you basically your self-discipline. And welcome back.
Hi, I don't know what you were talking about, but self-discipline is a good idea. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
External discipline does usually makes no sense. Okay.
Well, even as a word, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Internal discipline or self-discipline, I imagine as realizing, helping the child realize the negative consequences of their behavior and helping them find a better way to do things to prevent these negative consequences. But we have to do that through communication so that the child knows why they're doing it, right? Because punishing them, it can be so far removed from the original problem, right?
Well, you're creating a secondary problem, aren't you? You're masking the original problem by introducing another one, because the punishment itself creates problems.
Okay, take it this way, okay? A person is a criminal, steals things, goes to prison, stays there for 15 years, gets out of the prison. What's he gonna do? He's probably going to continue stealing things, right?
Yeah, the idea that
and try harder not to get caught this time, right? It's the same.
You can't stop it. You can't stop.
I'm not playing with it. I'm just holding it in the same space. No.
That doesn't work with me. No, you just.
Okay, I'm going to change my foot position without touching the cables with my hands. Is that going to be a better idea?
Yeah,
I'm much more likely
better.
to hook it with my knee and pull it off, though.
Hook it with your knee? Why? You need like a giant hook.
Like a giant fish hook.
Lovely. Right, moving on. What's next? Each child needs 2 parents. It is very important for these parents to present a united front. Never to go or to be seen to go against the child. To be seen to be supporting the child in the child's journey, I guess it would be.
I don't
The child's
understand that.
experiences.
Can you say that sentence again? It seemed to be contradicting itself.
Contradicting yourself. Well, the parents need to be working together,
Mm-hmm.
basically. Well, fundamentally, they need that.
Where
And
is it?
so,
Where are you reading it?
where am I reading it? If I read it as it's written there, where it was written in like the 1960s,
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to make sense to anyone at all. So I have to paraphrase parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
The main idea that it's trying to present is that the parents should be supporting each other, because if the parents don't support each other, there's an emotional imbalance from the perspective.
You see, you
of the
said
child.
something different than what's written there.
I know I had to, because what's
Well,
written
no,
there.
you didn't have to, because you said that parents should work together and should not go against the child. But what's written there is that a parent should not team up with a child to go against the other parent.
I also said that. I said
Yeah.
both of those things. Yes.
Okay, I didn't get that, so I had to read it again because it didn't make sense to me the way you said it.
Okay. Do you want to make a comment about the statement?
Yes. First of all, I would like to say that it's a very sensitive topic, okay? Because a lot of parents out there are by themselves and not by choice, okay?
I don't really understand that statement.
Well, okay, you're a mother, right? And you have children.
That's a
And
choice.
yes, that's a choice, but your partner can just snap one day and run away somewhere, start
No, that's
having
not
a
that you-
relationship with a different woman and go
What?
off, or
Yeah,
they
no,
can
no,
die,
whoa.
right?
Okay.
So
There's
there's
there's a relatively small number of people whose partners die.
it doesn't matter how
at the young-
small the number is, okay?
Well,
There's still people behind the number. Therefore, we have to approach this topic very, I think, carefully, because it's a very sensitive topic.
Yet at the same time, okay, that's selecting an extreme group like partners or a parent whose partner has died while their children were young. It's a relatively small group, but not unimportant, of course, because each parent is important, each individual person is important. But the argument that if you say that's unimportant, then it doesn't differentiate between the larger group and the smaller group, and the larger group obviously carries more weight. I've lost you, haven't I?
Completely. What I'm saying is that it is important to approach this topic carefully and without judgment, okay? It doesn't mean you're a
but you
bad
said no.
parent
But you
if you
said
don't
no.
have
It
a partner.
wasn't their choice. I think that
Sometimes it isn't, and
most-
sometimes it is.
most people who are single parents as a result of their choices. The majority. Everything is a choice. You've always got a choice. To have children is a choice. To choose your partner is a choice. Everything is a choice.
Yes,
nothing
but
that happens without choice.
sometimes you make mistakes, and when you're in a situation
That's a
that
choice.
you're stuck with a or when your partner leaves you because he goes off after another woman, then
or
she goes after another man, which
or woman,
whatever, or woman, or that doesn't matter. Stop it.
donkey.
The thing is that it is not in your power to change that situation. Okay, you end up like as a single parent.
But you put yourself
with a
in
child.
that
It does not
situation.
matter.
It does matter. You
It
chose
doesn't matter
It does
right
matter.
now.
It does matter because you.
What matters is you have to
Choice.
deal with the consequences.
Yes, you have to deal with the consequences, but it matters that you put yourself in that position that you have to deal with the consequences. Everything is a choice.
Yes, I know that was a choice. What I'm saying is you didn't choose a partner so that he leaves you in 3 years, right?
You do if you don't do it in an intelligent way, which many people don't.
It doesn't matter.
It does, because you have to make intelligent, logical choices.
Not everybody is intelligent and logical, but you can't dismiss them.
I'm not dismissing them. I'm feeling sorry for the fact that people make unintelligent and illogical choices, but we have to recognize it.
Yeah, but what you're like, okay, sorry, maybe you're not dismissing them, but what I'm saying, it doesn't matter whether it's your choice or whether it's not your choice, whether you've been put in that position by somebody or whether your spouse have died, it does not matter, okay? Nobody chooses to be a single parent because
Yes,
they
do.
really want to be a single parent.
Yes, they do. People make that choice all the time. They say they don't want to be a single parent, but they make the choice to be a single parent. Those are two
Because
different
it's
things.
better.
Ah, then you agree with me.
Parents only choose that because it's
Then
better.
they do make the choice.
I didn't say they don't make the choice. I said they don't make the choice because they desperately want to be a single parent.
Well,
That's what I said.
yes, but that's the argument that nobody makes bad choices. Of course, everybody makes whatever. Nobody wakes up in the morning and thinks, "I'm going to make bad choices today. I'm going to have a
Everybody
bad
does
breakfast."
what they
Nobody-
think is the best thing for their
Yes,
children.
Yes.
Right?
Oh,
And if that means leaving your
question
abusive
mark.
partner, then
No,
you're
no.
going to end up
Okay,
as a
no.
single
It's
parent.
not true that everybody does it. It's true that everybody does what they think is the best thing for their children, but it's not true that everybody does what is the best thing for their children. Those are very different things, because the statistic is that there are more failures in second marriage than there are in first marriage. Those people whose first marriages don't work have a higher probability, much higher probability, that their second marriage is not going to work. So the actual best thing for the children is that the couple stay together rather than get divorced and try to get remarried, because statistically it's lower. Statistically, there's
Excuse me?
Yeah, statistically,
Excuse me?
that's
I don't care about statistics. I know a woman who has left her abusive partner who beat the hell out of her and married to a great guy that they're happy with and that's intelligent and that's supportive. You can't just say statistically it's like that, dig, 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 dig.
There's
Because
always
that's
one exception to the
dismissive.
rule.
It's not one exception to the rule.
It's
There's
a minor-
many
No,
exceptions.
that's a minority.
It doesn't matter that
It
it's a
does-
minority.
It does matter.
It's
The
not
percentage
because
matters.
that
The
minority
percentage
is still
matters.
big.
The percentage matters because you
Not when you're dealing with children
with everything.
and with people.
With everything, the percentage matters, because if you look at anything in life and say, okay, there's an 80% chance of this and a 20% chance of this, you're going to realize that there's an 80%. That the 80% is bigger and much more probable. We do that with all choices in life. We go through an intelligent person with all choices in life goes through statistical probability analysis. They look out the window and they go, okay, how cold is it today? How cold was it yesterday? How cold is it going to be? What clothes do I need to put on my kids, or I don't want to let my kids see or watch this kind of film because the last time they watched something like that, it wasn't good for them. There's statistical analysis is what an intellectual and intelligent person is constantly doing throughout the day.
Statistics cannot determine, or statistics do not determine future outcome of something, right?
We'll tell that to Google, which is what, 98% consistent.
Okay, if I tell you that 80% people die of cancer, if they're diagnosed with breast cancer, then 80% of them die. Okay, I just made that up. I don't know if it's true, but if that was true, no, we cannot, because I don't have the statistics in front of me.
But
if I tell you that 80% people who get this kind of cancer die, and you get this kind of cancer, right? Are you going to say, oh, I'm going to die because vast majority dies? No. There's still the 20%, right?
That's different.
You can be there or there.
That's asking about belief.
I'm just trying to show you that there are people behind the numbers, and you cannot dismiss a number of people just because they're the minority. You cannot say they don't count because they're the minority. Statistically,
if there's a 1% chance of something, of course it can still happen, but you dismiss it, right?
You don't dismiss it, and it's not 1%.
Okay, so you can make a statistic about something which is not real, but I can't.
You're talking about the 1%.
Yeah.
You cannot dismiss it because it still exists, okay? If you've got 1 million people, right? You've got a
Well,
million
how does medicine
people.
work? Medicine works on statistics.
If you've got 1 million people, then 1% is still 10,000 people. That's a huge number, okay? You can't dismiss it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about the fact that
What million people what? I don't
just-
know what you're talking about. What million people?
You have
what
just-
million people?
you
What?
have just
You're
have
not
just
giving
went-
me a real example.
Listen, I am saying that you have to be careful when you approach the subject of single parents, okay? When you make statements like child needs 2 parents,
The child does
because
need 2 parents.
there is a huge group of people who cannot provide 2 parents to the child, okay? They would love to, but they can't. So
They don't adequately have the skills.
my point
And they've made
is,
very bad choices.
it
Because
doesn't
everything is a choice.
matter whether it's a choice or not.
It does.
No.
Because you have to live with the consequences then, and you have to understand that you're dealing, if you want a better future for your children, you have to ensure that you understand why you made the choices that you made in your life so that you can help your children to avoid those problems and pitfalls.
It's not going to help a single mother with children if you go to her and tell her child needs 2 parents, otherwise they cannot be made into a full person. You have to provide 2 parents for a child, and you're a single mother because it's your choice, because you have effed up in your life when you chose the wrong partner who beat you up. You cannot do that. That's horrible.
You just made up something that I would never do.
But that's what you
unfair.
just said.
No, I did not say that. You said that.
You're like,
You said
children
that.
need 2 parents,
No, you
and
just
it
made up-
doesn't matter.
Did you or
and
did you?
people
Did
should...
you or did you not make up an example that I did not?
I
give?
made up an example
Okay, did
based
you or
on your
did you-
statements.
Ah, so you made it up. It's not real.
It's based on your statements.
It's not. I never said that. You can't base something. I either said it or I didn't say it. I said it and it's real, or I didn't say it and it's made up. There's nothing in the middle.
He said the people who are single parents, vast majority are because they made bad choices and they have to be told that. Is that what you said or not?
I didn't say. I don't understand. They have to be told that. I don't know what that means.
Well, you said they have to know about, they have to realize that they made bad choices because they need to
Yes.
pass it on to their children or whatever.
No. Now you're making fun of single
I'm
parents.
not making fun. I
Okay.
told you.
Okay, then.
Okay.
Okay, then tell me what it is that I said that was not true.
I'm not saying that you are not saying the truth. I am saying that you have to be tactful and gentle and careful when you approach that topic of children need 2 parents. That's what I'm saying. Okay?
It doesn't mean anything because children need 2 parents. End of story. Children need 2 parents. If they're
If it's
going to grow up in a balanced way, in a balanced world, the studies, the psychological studies over long periods of time show that children need 2 parents. They need to understand the father's role and the mother's role. They need to experience having 2 parents.
That's the ideal situation, but unfortunately we do not live in an ideal world, and children cannot have 2 parents. Not all of them.
They
Some
can
of them
if their
can,
parents
some
make
of them can't.
intelligent choices.
You cannot turn the freaking time back, okay?
I'm not. Who said time travel? Who said time travel? You just mentioned time travel.
You're
I made-
talking time travel.
No,
This
you
is like,
you
there
said
wouldn't have to
time-
be single parents if you could do good choices. But you can do good choices because you're a human and you make mistakes. most of all in relationships, because you're in love and you don't see behind love. You don't see behind your being in love. You don't see what the person really is like. They can be a psychopath, okay? They can be a freaking narcissist, and
That's why you have
can't
to make
tell.
intelligent choices.
But sometimes you can't because you're 17, okay? And because you have absolutely no experience with narcissists, okay?
Because your parents haven't taught you. It's the parents' job.
So it's the,
to teach
okay,
the children
great.
to be
So the
ready for these
parents made
situations.
mistakes, and therefore the child made mistakes, and therefore she got herself pregnant with a partner that turns out to be abusive, and so she decides to leave
Yes,
because she
this-
doesn't want her children to live in that kind of relationship.
Yet the parents needed to provide the child with the tools to
But
be
it
able to
doesn't
make the
matter.
right choices.
It doesn't matter at all, because the woman is in the situation where she is. It absolutely doesn't matter what happened in the past, okay? She cannot change that. She's in a situation where
It
she has a
does
child and she's a single parent. She cannot provide two parents for the child,
Wait,
okay?
Wait.
Because she's already in that situation.
It does matter. See, what I'm saying is it does matter what happened in the past, because if
Well,
you're not
she
aware of
realizes
it-
what
Can I
happened in
finish
the
my
past,
statement, please?
obviously, okay?
If-
You just got me triggered.
No. Just finish my statement, please. Which is that what happened in the past is very important, because that's how you got to where you are. And if you made mistakes, you need to understand why those mistakes occurred and how those mistakes occurred, so that they don't happen again, and so that you
Okay.
definitely don't pass these errors in judgment onto your own kids.
Yes, you usually do realize that the errors occurred and how they occurred if you find yourself in that situation. But
No, you don't.
single mothers usually go to therapy, okay, or should be advised to go to therapy, because obviously something that there's a problem somewhere that needs to be solved,
if they can
okay?
afford therapy, because it's really expensive.
That's not the point right now, and you just threw me off the track.
I'm sorry. I was just making the point that therapy is expensive.
The thing is that you still have to provide support to these people, even though they made bad choices. I don't give a shit whether they made bad choices, or whether their parents made bad choices, or whether whoever it was made bad choices, okay? The thing is, they're in the situation that they are in right now, and they need empathy, and they need support, and they don't need telling children need two parents, because it's like me telling you, you know, children need to go to Paris, and you're like, well, that's great, but I don't have the money to send my children to Paris, okay? And I'll say,
Paris stuff. We're talking about the fact it's better to have two parents than one.
I'm just telling
It's
you,
better.
I'm just telling you, okay, it's better, but they don't need to be told that, okay?
Maybe they do. Maybe they don't know. I mean, obviously they've made a mistake, which tends to show that they don't know that. I mean, that would be a logical conclusion from the fact that they're single parents, that they don't understand the importance of the choice and the requirement for two parents to be there.
No, I think that in a lot of cases, they are single parents because they knew that the only way to keep their children sane and happy is to remove them from the other partner, okay? And safe in a lot of cases.
I'm of course, naturally. I mean, those are natural things. You want everyone to be safe all of the time. You don't want anyone to have any problems. Naturally. I mean, that applies to everyone at all points in time.
That doesn't mean that they don't understand the importance of a father figure. It just means that they realize that the father figure that was involved in the family before was a crappy father figure. And it's better to have no father figure than to have a crappy father figure.
Well, you
if we're talking about women
I can't make a
leaving,
generalized
okay?
statement about that, because I think that each person is individual.
And I'm just talking about women leaving, okay? I don't know if it's most of the time, but lots of the time, it's the father who removes themselves from the family. So you can't just. You have to be a little bit. You have to have a little bit of empathy when it comes to dealing with these things.
I think that I would be interested to find the statistics about, you know, the causes of relationship breakups, because I think it's 50-50. I mean, both people make the choice. Both people have to equally accept the choice that they made a mistake. I don't think you can say it's more one person's fault or the other person's fault.
I think that's individual.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is you can't.
I didn't even try to do that. I just told you. I just told you that.
You said most of the time it's the
No,
father.
I corrected myself. I said a lot of the times. I said I don't know if
Doesn't
it's
that
most
mean
of the
it's-
times. I
that's-
said
okay,
a lot of the times it's the parent, it's the father. A lot of the times it's the mother who decides to leave for whatever reasons. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
there's a contradiction in there, but I'll let it go. You can't have a lot and a lot.
Yes, you can.
Well, no, because you can't have more on one side and then more on the other side.
I'm not
as well.
saying more. A lot does not mean more. You should know that. You're an English teacher.
Yeah, a lot means more than average. I'm not going to argue about language, but that's what it means, right? There's a lot. If you've got an average, right, a lot means more than the average. That's what it means. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know, but you can't have a lot on both sides.
Okay, well then
It's
I should have said
impossible.
some. Okay, then I
Yeah.
should
Yes.
have said
Yes.
some.
Some, yeah. 'cause
Okay, sorry.
yeah.
Language mistake. My point is, there is no point in pointing fingers and saying it's your fault anyway. You're a single parent.
I'm not
it's your
pointing a
fault
finger.
anyway,
I'm
or
just
it's your
saying
choice
that-
anyway.
I'm just saying
sometimes-
that everything is the result of a person's choice. Everything. Everybody's got a choice all the way along. Every single day when a person wakes up in the morning, they've got a choice.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And for a lot of these women, being a single parent is a better choice than being with an abusive husband, for example, or being with a husband who cheats on them, or whatever reason a woman would decide to leave.
Or you could say, you could.
Yes, you could reverse
the
it.
male-
Yes,
You could reverse the
yes. The
male-female
man
principle
the man can decide to leave because the woman was cheating on him or whatever. I don't know, or
Because
because the
there are-
woman was beating him up, right?
Actually, statistically, in Western society, statistically, I believe the domestic violence statistics are pretty even. Seriously, they're pretty even. There are as many women who are aggressive to their men as there are men who are aggressive to their women. It's not
Statistically, the same number of men ended up in a hospital, being put in a hospital by their wife.
not being put in hospital, but as the results of aggressive behavior. Obviously, because the woman's not strong enough to hurt the man, but she tries. It happens. Look, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that it's not bad both ways. Of course, it is bad both ways. Of course, it's extremely bad, but it's pretty even. There are as many
Statistics of
women
domestic violence are pretty even. Are you serious?
Yes, yeah. There are as many women who are aggressive towards the men, except the men don't get hurt, because when the woman hits the man's bigger. He doesn't get hurt. But there are as many women who hit men as men who hit women, but the man just doesn't get hurt. Seriously. Look, let's say we're an average couple, right?
We are an average couple.
Right, okay, right. So I'm a bit bigger than you, right?
Yes.
Right. So obviously, if I hit you, which I'm not going to do, obviously, right? If I hit you, it'd have a bigger effect than if you hit me, right?
Yes.
Now, psychologically, there's a whole other thing going on in people's relationships with the physical violence element, right? Because there's a standard belief that men are responsible for most physical violence, which is not true. It's pretty much average, right? Because the woman thinks, a lot of women, sadly, a lot of women think they can get away with doing whatever and the man will get blamed for it, right? Seriously. Now, if you go on to
What do you mean by doing whatever? You know
like
what
hitting
doing
the
whatever
man,
means.
and it's okay, right? See, man hits woman, woman hits floor, end of story, right? Yeah, woman hits man, man's like, what are you doing, right? And if you look at those elements, there are a large number, because everyone's going around with like mobile phones in their pockets now, like videoing stuff, right? There are hundreds of videos from that and from security cameras of women calling the police saying, my man hit me, right? And when the police get the video evidence, they find out that the man was acting in self-defense because the woman started hitting him. Seriously.
And there's lots of these videos.
Yeah, there are lots. And the problem is that the men have problems controlling themselves after the woman hits them. That's the problem, right? Because what the men need to do is like turn around and walk away, right? But what happens is the woman hits the man, and the man turns around and smacks the woman, and it's like the woman's out cold, right? And the man goes to prison.
Well, look at our kids, okay?
And there's
if Jasmine comes to
thousands
Will,
of videos
right?
of this on YouTube.
Look at our kids. If Jasmine comes to Will and hits him, we tell her it's not right because it's not right, okay? But when Will goes and hits Jasmine, which he probably never did, but if Will went and hit Jasmine, it would not be the same as Jasmine hitting him, right? Because he's much bigger, much stronger, and he could hurt her. So, I mean, violence being a horrible thing and should never be witnessed by any kids in any family, right?
But if it's going to be treated equally, it's well known that if a woman and a man, now you can check this in every single country in the world, this is true. I say every single country in the world. I don't have the statistics for some of the countries, and I think the Middle Eastern countries are really unfair towards women. So I think that in general, those don't fit into this. But if a man and a woman commit the same crime, exactly the same crime, the man goes to prison for longer. Right? Society is imbalanced. If a man and a woman can commit the same infidelity, the woman gets the kids. Now this is true. It's just like 80 to 90% is the statistic for this, right? It's 80 to 90% true. If a man and a woman commit the same crime, a man will go to prison for longer than a woman. If a man and a woman commit the same infidelity, there's a higher probability that the woman will always get the children.
That's not my experience.
Well, check the statistics.
Okay.
It's a fact.
That's not my experience.
I
I have also never ever known any men that would have been abused by women, but I have known women.
That's because men don't talk about it because nobody believes them, right? Because there's also this idea that, and people laugh at it and be like, but it wasn't until people started videoing everything and there were cameras in streets and security cameras and mobile phone cameras that there was actually evidence that this was happening and has been happening for a long period of time. The woman hits the man, and the man hits back, and the man goes to prison for domestic violence, even though it was started by the woman.
It's because because he doesn't go to prison for domestic violence. He goes to prison for what do you call in English?
You want to come up here and show us the house, darling? Do you want to come and see yourself on the camera? Yeah? No? Did you make this? Wow, I'd like to have a house like that. There's like what is this a door or a bridge or what's this down here? You don't know. It's just a house. It's a big tall house. Like a castle, isn't it? Yeah. Who lives in the house? Who lives in the house? Do you know? Is it a princess? Yeah. The princess in the castle. Is it Rapunzel? Is she a princess? Okay. You know about those stories. Yeah. Okay, that's kind of cool. Oh no, I've dropped. Oh look, it's a rocket now. The house has become a
pulling the cables.
The house has become a rocket. Unbelievable. Wow, it's a rocket house castle thing. Yes,
okay.
I'll get the pieces.
Take it. Go fix it.
No, she can't fix it without the pieces.
Oh, she says more pieces.
Say something to the camera. I'll look
he's fixing it. He's fixing it. He's picking up the pieces that he dropped.
Here's some pieces.
And he's trying to pick up all the Duplo that has dropped on the floor. And,
I can't reach it.
Yeah, the thing is that I don't think that men go to prison for domestic violence. I think they go to prison because of injury to health to someone. Okay, so if a woman does this, it's not going to injure you, right? But if you break somebody's teeth, then that's what you go to prison for. Okay. I'm not saying that this should be acceptable. Okay, I'm not
Yeah,
defending
but
women who are
there's
being
also hundreds
violent.
of videos of
Okay,
women.
I'm just telling you that
Women going, "Oh, my husband assaulted me," when he didn't touch her at all.
I don't know about
Even
what
happened
other
to-
people
Do you
do.
remember? It
Okay.
even happened to Donald Trump when he was on the campaign trail. This woman ran up to him at a speech, grabbed his arm, and then claimed assault. Right?
Well then,
She said,
well
"Donald
then,
Trump
okay.
assaulted me."
And some people are obviously psychologically ill, okay, mentally ill. That's none of my business. I'm talking
Yeah.
about single parents and about the fact that you have to approach the topic of single parenthood with care and with empathy and with compassion. Okay.
And with a realistic perspective and armed with the facts about the situation.
So you can. Yeah, statistics are not going to help you at all when dealing with a person in person.
But they can help you prepare for the future when you understand how the present got to be so completely messed up as it is. Because there's a lot of people walking around just thinking, well, that's just the way it is. That's just normal. And, you know, it's not, as I said at the beginning, it's not automatic. These are the results of choices that people make.
Yes, the thing is that people didn't just start to do bad choices to make bad choices now. They have always made bad choices.
I agree
And
with
bad
that.
choices have been made for them when the parents would arrange for the marriage or whatever. And you only see so many single parents, or well, you only see so many divorces as you see, because now they don't have to be stuck in the situation.
I think that there's enough evidence to point at the fact that people don't take marriage seriously.
That is also true.
And that in the past it was a much more serious thing, and you were shamed by society completely if you made the wrong choice. And
which is horrible.
And
because everybody can make a wrong choice.
One
wrong decision made by a girl in love.
That's why you have to make it very carefully, because it's not just one decision. See, it doesn't exist in isolation.
Yeah, I know that, and
everything.
you know
it's
that.
Not just one decision.
But not everybody knows that. You still have to be compassionate with the people. You still have to be empathetic. You still have to be non-judgmental, because it doesn't help anybody if you're not tactful when approaching a topic. Doesn't help anybody.
Yeah, if a person got into a problematic situation by not being tactful, which I'm not even quite sure what we mean by using the word tactful, because there's honest and not honest, and tactful to me suggests
Tactful
that you're
is
trying
being
to hide.
tactful, as I explained before, is being honest, but doing it
tactful
gently.
Is not telling the full story.
No.
That's what tactful is. Tactful is not saying, "Oh, you've rebuilt the house. You've rebuilt the castle. That's incredible. Wow, and I've got to be careful with it this time. Put it, yeah, that's it. You want me to put it down so that I don't drop it.
Focusing on bad decisions in the past is not going to resolve anything. What you can do instead is you can say,
"What's up, darling?" Yeah, you put your hand there. You won't hit your head. That's a great idea.
You
You're
can
growing
say,
up so fast.
okay, the ideal thing for a child is to have a female role model and a male role model. Okay, now let's see, you're a single parent, you cannot provide this for your child. Let's see what you can do in your situation. Do you have a brother that you like your child to, identify with, or to serve as a role model for your child? Or is there any other figure, male figure that you can...
He needs a father. They need a father.
That's absolutely irrelevant for a person who doesn't have a partner.
But they have to find a father.
So you're just gonna go looking for somebody to marry you desperately, right? What if you don't find one?
Whoa. Did I say look desperately for somebody? Did I say that? Did I say that?
You said they have to find a father.
I did not. Yes. I just said I didn't say be desperate. I didn't say, oh my God, you have to be desperate.
If finding a father was just about the decision made, right? Oh, I decide I'm going to find the father for my child, so I'm going to find the partner. If that was that easy, okay, then there would not be any like internet love forums where people try to find partners. There wouldn't be any big love tragedies of people who desperately try to find a partner and don't manage, or there would be no lonely longing hearts, because people could just go, I'm going to find myself a partner, ding, right?
No idea what you're talking about.
I have to find a father. It's not so easy. Everybody is trying to find a partner. You don't have to tell people. You have to find a father for your children, because everybody is doing it already anyway. Don't you think that everybody's looking for love, for finding someone decent to live with?
I think looking for love is the wrong way to approach it. We can deal with this. We can talk about it.
Looking for a partner, looking for a friend to share your house with, to have them as a father figure for your children. Of course, everybody's looking for it. You don't have to tell them.
Yes, but don't do it desperately. I mean, you can make horrible mistakes. That's like
what I'm saying.
Desperately running to the shop before it closes.
Child needs two parents. You're a single mother because you've made all these wrong decisions. Now go and find the father figure. Otherwise, your child will never be normal.
Why are we focusing on the mother? What about the father? What about
because I'm a woman and I'm talking about it from my point of view, okay? Because there's probably more single mothers than there are single. I know that's not possible. But I'm talking about having the child in full care, I'm talking about having to deal with the consequences. Because fathers are usually like, well, whatever. I'll see my child once a week.
Yeah, that's not a father,
really
is it? I mean, that's just a motherfucker, right?
Well, there's a lot of those.
Yeah, but he was chosen by her as much as she was chosen by him. He's got to. He didn't like pick her up and. Well,
some of them did.
Well, where does that? That doesn't happen anywhere.
I was just communicating with a person in a Facebook
forum.
Who
lived in a cave and.
No, she said that she's a single mother. She's got a child because she was raped.
Okay.
So there are women like that, okay?
Look, bad shit happens, but
yes.
Again, if you look at the percentages of situations, right? Don't put yourself in a situation of vulnerability. Make intelligent choices, right? Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying blame the victim, absolutely not, because I said it's a horrible thing that happens, okay? It's a horrible thing that happens. You've got to be careful. That's why it's very important for the parents to bring up the children in a way where they understand about the logic of the choices that they make. They understand.
Yes, absolutely. They have to bring their children up that way. Yes.
The risks involved in the situations, and there are. It's the situation that you described is horrible.
Yes.
And yet, I guarantee you that there were signs that something bad was going to happen, and people didn't read the signs, because there's always signs. Come back into the picture. You've put it out there. There are always signs that bad things are going to happen, and people ignore the signs. You have to be careful. Now, you'll find examples where there are not, but I guarantee you, people always say after the fact, yeah, that happened, but there are what's called red flags. There are signs that bad things are going to happen. And you need to be able to read the signs so that the bad things don't happen. It's really important.
Yes, and it's definitely a good idea to teach your children doing that. But have you noticed the Me Too thing going on Facebook?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We got 2 minutes, right?
We got only 2 minutes. This was a good discussion.
I think Me Too is a highly negative thing, and I'm making this judgment having only seen one post on Facebook this morning where somebody posted, "I was abused. Please write Me Too here if this happened to you too. If you were a woman who was abused by a man or something, write Me Too in here. And it's
not that much about abuse, it's about sexual harassment
Yeah,
and abuse as well, yes.
yeah, but this is just it's an attack on men.
It's not. It's
an
supposed
attack
to.
on men by women.
You're not going to let me talk.
We've got 30 seconds.
It's not an attack on men. It's to bring. It's to bring awareness to a problem, and that is lack of respect for women.
Okay. Here's
men.
okay. You know the answer to this question. Are more men or more women raped in Western society?
I don't know.
The statistic is more men are raped than women. That's a fact.
By men, not
Yes.
by women. By men. So again, it's
And women.
violence. I have never seen a. How can a man be raped by a woman?
Well,
I mean,
have to go and-
physically.
you have to go and study that. It happens.
Physically.
It happens. You have to go and study it. We're
Oh,
gonna talk about it here.
well, to use your language, look at the statistics, okay?
Men, there. Are you saying it's not possible for women to rape men? 'Cause
I'm saying it's not possible for there being more men raped by women than there are women raped by men.
no, there are more men. That's not what I said. I said there are more men raped than women raped.
But the
society.
violence, you see, this is shifting the focus to the victim. The focus have to be shifted
Shifting the focus
to the perpetrator, okay? So
It's
it's
an attack on
men.
men in society.
It's like 99% of men who do the sexual harassment, and that's the problem.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. There are as many.
The problem is that children.
I know hundreds of men who have been harassed sexually at work, and no one has listened to them or believed them that it happened.
You know hundreds of men that have been harassed. You don't even know hundreds of men.
In my life, I have met hundreds of men who were sexually harassed at their workplace.
I don't know.
Hundreds.
I don't know.
Hundreds. And people, and when they go, and they've got no one to complain to, nobody will believe them, and it's there. It's there.
It's possible that it's there. I don't know
It's
one
there.
single woman. I don't know one single woman, and I'm not exaggerating, that has never been sexually harassed by men.
Okay, I've
Okay.
never sexually harassed anybody.
Okay,
so
that's
you,
good.
You can exclude me from that
Okay.
group of people.
I have never sexually harassed anybody either.
Why is it women look so? Why is it
Okay.
women spend so much time trying to look so beautiful? They're wearing the makeup and
Because
the
we
short
like to look
skirts.
beautiful. We're not doing it to
What do you
attract
think-
men. We're doing it because we like the way it looks. It's not for you.
What do you think
you
it's going to do?
egotistic
What do you think it's
freaking
going to do to male? What do you
mother-fathers.
think it's going to do to male hormones?
I
when
don't
you walk
care
around
about
and
male
stuff like
hormones,
that?
okay? I'm going to wear what I
Well-
like to wear, and I don't give a schmuck about your hormones, okay? Because it's my body.
What
If
about
you
walking
have
around
a
with a hard
problem-
on all the time?
If you have a problem with your hormones, it's your problem, not mine. I'm not going to cover up because of it, okay?
Funny. Really funny.
I'm just being really wound up today. So this is a great
Yeah.
practical parenting. We're gonna have to say goodbye,
She's,
or I'm
she's
gonna
angry
be
now. She's
violent.
She's lost it. She's lost it. I have to go to a meeting.
Go!
I'm going. Are you going? Where are you going?
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna have to
She's
take a
lost- she
few
doesn't know what she is.
deep breaths,
She's
and I'm gonna have to put some clothes on the kids, and then we're going to a dance lesson
excellent. Welcome.
done by a woman.
God, there's no stopping you, is there?
Yes, darling.
Right. Practice.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Just give me a
Science experiments to do as well. Right.
Yes, it's our mungo beans
Look, we got to point 5
sprouting.
from 12.
That's great.
We
That's
can do
better
the-
than usual.
It's about average, probably. Right. If you want less information about what we do, don't go to the Academy of Language Therapy and Life Coaching on Facebook and on YouTube. And don't visit www.nsa-slovakia.com, and don't visit the 21st Century Mum, which is 21centurymum.com. Is that right?
MUM, yes.
Mum's the word. She said, Mum's the word.
It totally is. Okay,
Hard
okay. I'm sorry for shouting at you. I'm sorry for shouting at you.
We'll do the gratitude thing later. Okay.
I got triggered. Do you forgive me?
Of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't notice you were triggered. I thought that was normal. Okay. Right. Shall we say bye on Facebook after?
Yes.
Move this stuff because I can't see what's going on. Okay. Thank you very much for tuning in. There'll be another episode. Call them episodes.
It was a bit of an episode.
There'll be another episode very soon. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.